important part. Thanks for staying with me. How do I schedule my break? It's like, all right, Damon, you got me. I thought I couldn't take a break, and then I thought I didn't need a break. You got me. I read the literature. I heard what you're saying. All right. How the hell do I actually schedule a break? Good question. There's two rules, and I've been a long time napper. I managed to schedule breaks, and people, particularly now I've become a coach over the last say 10 years. People are all like, "Well, how do you did 27 books? How did you actually take a break? How does that happen?" Here's the two keys for me. The first thing is to look at it as a periodical thing. Look at it as a lifestyle change versus say retirement. I have elders that are looking at retirement. I have elders that are in retirement right now. It's like, I don't need to retire. You probably don't need to retire. Shout out to y'all that are dealing with chronic illnesses and other things where you need an extended break. Love to y'all. I coach some of y'all. If you need to do that, do what you need to do. For a lot of us, though, we just need like a minute to breathe, a moment to reflect. We can't put that in. Most days I meditate for 5 minutes on my little meditation mat, either over here or over in the bedroom, depending on where the boys are at, because my boys get pretty loud, but I find a space for it. And that's my little respite. On most days, most weekdays, I squeeze in a nap, usually for 45 minutes. It works with my body. I took a nap today, especially it's hot as heck today. Hot as fish grease today, as they used to say. So I took a little break, and that's why I'm able to have this hour-long conversation with y'all and keep my energy up. A break is walking to the neighborhood store, the bodega, if you're over in the hood, shout out to y'all on the East Coast, or to the grocery store where I'm not in the hood, it's a grocery store, and taking that walk. And it's like 10 minutes. There's ways that you can introduce it in. It doesn't have to be a black and white thing. It's called a zero-sum game, if you want to get into the psychology of it. And so many of us look at taking a break as a zero-sum game. Oh man, I need a break so bad. It needs to be in Turks and Caicos. It needs to be at the 5-star Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And my wife and I are going to be there. And oh yeah, we got to bring the fin. Bro, suddenly it went from I need a moment to breathe to let me go and plan this $20,000 vacation. Probably more than that. I've never been to Turks and Caicos for that reason, right? Need to save up a little bit more for that. Do you understand what I'm saying? We can elevate it so high. Or we can say, I'm going to go and take a week off, but after I finish this massive project. Again, so much is built into it that it can fall apart really quickly. And with that in mind, make it more periodical. If the weather's nice, then number one, eat lunch. But number two, eat your lunch outside for 5 minutes. Even if you're scarfing it down, just take a breath. There's ways that we can rest that don't require these huge commitments. Because then it becomes more of an executive function slash perfectionism slash this such massive goal that ends up not happening, and we end up not taking a break at all. So our standards end up getting so high that we end up overwhelming ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me put the psychobabble to the side. We end up making the goal so high as far as what our break is going to be that we end up overwhelming ourselves and not making a break at all. And then before we know it, you got extra gray hairs, not a few of them, and it is retirement, and you're exhausted for real, and you might even have some problems because of it. And maybe your fam doesn't know you because you've been grinding it out the whole time. Maybe you don't know yourself. That's a deep one. Because you've been grinding out the whole time because you haven't stopped. Is that worth it? I don't think so. So, number one, focus on the periodical, the little things. It doesn't have to be the massive 5-star resort vacation. Because once you get there, you're not going to know how to rest anyway. I read about this in the original Bites as Entrepreneur, which again is in the complete Bring Your Worth collection. It's like, if you're used to grinding it and they're ingrained in your habits, you've been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years, you think once you get that villa, hopefully, I wish you well, you think you're going to be able to relax? Dude, you're 30 years out of habit. Start building that now. Shout out to Tim Ferriss, who came up with the concept of a mini retirement, where you take like a couple weeks off. You take a sabbatical for a month. Do that. But banking everything on this thing, and yeah, you can tell it's a touch point for me. I can talk about this all day because once you get to that point where you actually can take that long-term break, that dream vacation, some of us don't make it. Real talk. Either physically, mentally, emotionally, we're not able to do it. Or by the time we get there, we ain't here. I mean, for real. You're on permanent vacation. You're gone. I want better for y'all. You deserve better. If we're gonna sacrifice all this stuff to make our impact on the world as independent entrepreneurs, as side hustlers, as solopreneurs, then don't sacrifice yourself. Keep yourself around so that you can actually enjoy the world that you're building. Keep yourself around so that you can actually enjoy the world that you're building. And the best way to do that is to take care of yourself along the way. So that's the first level. Don't worry about the big fancy break or vacation. Focus on the periodical. The 5-minute meditations in the morning. Spend an extra 5-10 minutes in the shower. If you're paying your water bill and it's not harming anybody, spend an extra 5-10 minutes in the shower. Take a bath and then just sit. I love taking baths. Do something that fits your particular environment, that fits your resources, that's small enough so that you can start doing it immediately. Do that. The second thing, which often can get us into trouble, is please be transparent if you're going to take a break. Let people know. When I was gone for a couple days last week, I let people know. I was like, yeah, that meeting, yeah, I'm not, yeah, we might need to shift that because no. I had a couple overseas clients, and I was like, yeah, that's what Americans do. 4th of July, this year is on a Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's pretty much a wash. Not for me, but in general, that's how we do. Just being honest about it. If you knew my clients, you could ask them. They knew. And it's like, and I have family stuff going on? Like, yeah, I'm going to be out of office for a day or two. And traveling, I'm really going to be out of office. So be transparent about it. Again, the Brene Brown example, in links below, if you happen to miss the earlier part of the episode. She was super transparent, which was why I adore how she handled it. She's like, look, I'm burning out. I'll see y'all in a minute. I got 1,000 episodes of I think she might have three different podcasts. Listen to those. Rewind, check it out. I need to get refreshed because if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of y'all. I can't show up in the way that I promised. So I need a break. Be honest. You don't have to give 5 million different reasons. You don't have to say, no, I'm burning out, so I can't see you. You don't need to do that. You can just say, hey, like a dentist appointment. I just had one a few weeks ago. You don't feel guilty about a dentist appointment, right? It's like, I want to keep my teeth. I'm going to go see the dentist, get a cleaning or whatever. Get feedback, get some x-rays. Treat it like a dentist. I'm going to take Friday afternoon off. I don't know if I am, but let's just say I'm going to take Friday afternoon off. Okay. Out of office. Done. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. So number one thing is to focus on doing the periodical, the things that you can do, execute right now. Super simple. Literally right now, in the next 24 hours. What's that one thing you can do that will give you a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of rest? And the second thing is to give other people a heads up. Not that you're taking a break per se, but that, you might not be available. You don't have to give them detail. You just do your thing. If you're going to take a break, one of my favorite tools to do so, shout out to Beehive. I just transferred my newsletter. I talked about it earlier at joindamon.me. It's free. The link is right below. And I just transferred over to Beehive at the top of the year. Couldn't be more happier. More happy? Let's just say more happy. Working on the English today. More happy. I couldn't be more happy. Beehive works like this. Let me go ahead and give you all the game. Straight up. I don't know why I'm making noises, but that's how it works. All right. Again, hopefully the tech will work for me. I think we're, for those watching at home, literally, I think we're at about 116 degrees right now. So yes, I'm gonna start to wrap up this live before literally my stuff overheats. Because I'm using the camera and other stuff. I am not kidding. We have good air conditioning too. Doesn't matter. When when tires are melting, you know it's hardcore. All right. Beehive, newsletter platform built for growth, for creators by creators. True. It was actually founded by Morning Brew? I think it's the founders of Morning Brew. Shout out to y'all. And one of their names is Tyler, and I forget the name of the other folks involved, but shout out to y'all. But they decided to start a newsletter platform. And it is really straightforward. Again, free trial. The link is below. I think you might even get a bonus if you end up using my link. And it's set up really straightforward. It's almost like publishing a blog. If you guys are old school and you remember like a WordPress and stuff like that, it's like publishing a blog. So you don't have to do the heavy coding. You don't have to learn HTML, JavaScript, or anything crazy. The cool part about it too, which I believe they have it on this first page. This is the one. You know, I'm a passive income guy. This is a conversation. They're fantastic because they actually will connect you with ad opportunities. So if you get the newsletter at joindamon.me, you see there's advertising in there. More like sponsorship, super light, nothing intrusive. They will actually partner you with folks who want to advertise in your newsletter. And then often you'll get paid per click. So if a certain amount of people, let's say 10 people, click the sponsorship portal, whatever you want to call it, on your newsletter, you get paid, let's say $1 per click or $2 per click, whatever. And then that's paid by the company who's sponsoring it. And then that ends up in your bank account, I think, usually within 3 to 4 weeks. Sometimes faster, depends on the company. So within the month, you're getting paid for that. The reason I bring this up when it comes to REST is that you can schedule these. Again, you notice the pattern. I talked about Strikingly, which allows you to do e-commerce really smoothly. Again, the link is below. You can watch the earlier part of the episode for that, or the full episode if you're watching the clips. The link is below for all of that. You have Meet Edgar, which allows you to keep your socials going, even when you're away, even when you're out of the country. Been there, done that. It's fantastic service for that. And lastly, with this one, with the newsletter, you can schedule them as far as in advance as you want. If I know I'm going to be out of town and I have a weekly commitment to have a newsletter to you guys at joindamon.me at 5:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Vegas time, every Wednesday, I know I'm going to do it every Wednesday. So sometimes I'm doing the newsletter, frankly, the night before to go ahead and make sure I get the latest information in there, because it might be related to something I'm doing with Bring Your TV or a new article that comes out or a new opportunity that's come through. But sometimes I'll go and do the newsletter like well in advance. And it's scheduled in there, it's organized, the advertising set up, and it's good to go. This is a case of when I first started my newsletter way back in the day. I'm going to tell you how long it was, but let's say it was more than a decade. When I started my newsletter back in the day, then it was me literally BCCing, which means blind CC, which means I was sending to everybody, but no one else could see the email addresses. And that was me doing it became a couple hundred people. And I was like, okay, I need to come up with a different system. I work with other platforms. The other platforms are fine, but this one works really well because then I'm able to go ahead and organize it. People can subscribe. Again, the links are right below. You subscribe right now. It's all automated. And then you'll start getting my newsletters next Wednesday. And if you go to joindamon.me, all my newsletters are archived. So if you missed a newsletter, you're welcome to go ahead and check it out. The archive goes back to, say, February of this year. So it goes back about 5 or so months, maybe 6. So fantastic stuff. It will allow you to get a little bit more space. If we're going to be talking about systems and long-term, we got to talk about the book Upstream by Dan Heath, one of my favorite books, literally of all time, especially when it comes to systems thinking. Upstream is a basic idea. If there's stuff going on, and there's actually a parable in the book that talks about this, that's where the upstream comes from. If you think about a river, and there's garbage going into the river, and where the river's flowing this way, downstream. Upstream is at the top of the river, downstream is at the bottom of the river. I used to live in New Orleans, so I take that for granted, but before I moved there, I didn't really even think about it. But Upstream, top of the river. Downstream, bottom of the river. Let's say all this garbage is coming into the river, and we're downstream, and we keep seeing all this garbage, and we keep taking the garbage out, taking the garbage out. And it's like, this is frustrating. We're using so many resources, so much time. We're sweating, getting all this garbage out. I'm so sick of dealing with this garbage. We can leave it at that and just say, we need to put systems in place to get the garbage out. So we need to have people taking turns getting the garbage out because there's garbage in there every day. Or we can go upstream. And to do that, we have to first ask the question, where is the garbage coming from? We so often do not, as humans, as people, myself included, we don't question where the garbage comes from. All we know is that there's garbage here and we need to handle it. Let's get it done. Our to-do list. Let's keep it going. I just need to get through this. I need to push through this. I need to keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Because I can't afford to stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. The theme of this episode. But what if we just pause, just for a millisecond, and said, hey, we seem to be burning ourselves out. We're getting tired. Did anyone ask where the garbage is coming from? Is it coming? It's coming from upstream. Why don't we go upstream and handle the garbage? Why don't we find out the source of those issues? Why don't we figure out that problem? And once we do that, then we can get to the source. Maybe not the final destination, no horror movie, but maybe not the final destination, but we can get a little bit closer and be like, oh, well, some of the garbage comes from this part, and some of the garbage comes from this part. Wow, if we pause even more and go even further up the river, upstream, wow, we actually found out the source. And suddenly, we come back downstream, and we don't need that part of the system at all. That's the best way I can describe the book, Upstream. He's way more articulate and gives a ton of examples. Dozens, but maybe even like 100 examples of upstream things. From how police departments are run, to I think it was dealing with teenage kids and dropout. I think something about that. Like, there was so many different examples. Fantastic book, particularly if you are a founder, side hustler, solopreneur. If you're watching this show, you need to read this book. I have the audiobook. I need to get the physical book so it can be on my shelf because I want to tell everybody about it. Fantastic book. And when you're ready to take a break, a few episodes ago, favorite road tripping gear from yours truly. My favorite stuff to travel with. If you've been watching the show for a while, if you know me personally, you know I love to travel. I've been traveling my whole life. Traveling, I think, opens up so many things, different things. And traveling doesn't have to be you going overseas somewhere or you needing a passport. My passport's like right. My passport stays on. My passport's right here. But it also could be just you going to a different neighborhood. You doing a staycation. I did that with my boys recently, where we were in a hotel and just chilled out. Especially again with it being 114 degrees. It could be that. All that fits into there, and some of this has to do with also being able to rest and relax on the road. Some of y'all, I'm so proud of y'all from Patty McCracken has an awesome book called The Angel Makers out. To other folks who are coming out with books recently and going on tour. Salute to y'all. I haven't been on book tour in a little while. Most of my book tours recently have been virtual, but man, yeah, road tripping can be hard when you're actually on the road with business. So I talk about that as well, and those things that keep me psychologically sound while I'm doing it. Hey, thanks to all of y'all that did your comments, even on Amazon. I was check out the comments as I was looking down on Amazon Live. I appreciate y'all as well, particularly Angel. Thanks for following, and I hope I can support your work as well. I'm entrepreneurial coach Damon Brown. I'm coach of side hustlers, solopreneurs, otherwise non-traditional entrepreneurs. Bring your show every Wednesday at 1:11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Vegas time. You subscribe for free. If you're watching on LinkedIn, you can follow me over there. If you're watching on the Amazon, you can follow me over there too, subscribe, whatever. I know sometimes this gets put on other platforms I'm not on, so feel free to click the links below or come through to the official link at bringyourworth.tv. You subscribe from there. And the complete Bring Your Worth collection is available now from myself as well as from good publishers literally all around the world. The audiobook is also available online if you go ahead and click the link You can listen to the audiobook for free. It's a gift from me to you. Hey, I'm the publisher. I feel like making it free to y'all. Go and click the link below. You can enjoy the audiobook. Or if you want to go ahead and take it on the road, of course, you can get it at your favorite booksellers. Man, hope you guys get a chance to take a break. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy some tonic water. Probably there's nothing too heavy in this one. And yeah, probably get a little bit of work done, hang out with my kids. Maybe I'll take a nap. I think I convinced myself. Anyway, until next time, remember you can always bring your worth. You can always build from now. Take care of yourself and others. And yeah, what break can you take in the next 24 hours? I love to